Hi everybody, I'm Lisa from Sweet and Sassy Treasures, and I'd like to welcome you to episode 4 in my mixed media tile series. I love my gallery wall so much that I couldn't wait to show you how to create one of your own. So much thought goes into each and every tile, and I don't always get it right the first time. Sometimes I'll look at it and I'll tweak some things along the way, and this was one of those tiles. I'm hoping that I'll inspire you to create a gallery wall of your own because I think that you'll really enjoy the process. For this particular tile, I'm using a 5x7 wood gallery blank, the IOD Trimmings 4 mold, and an AB Studios rice paper. I start every tile by applying a thin coat of Paint Couture Embossing Medium over my 5x7 wood gallery blank. I'm not going for perfection. In fact, I want all of those little ridges and imperfections to show. I put a thin coat of the embossing medium on the sides too, just to give it that authentic clay look. Once that's dry, I apply a thin layer of white paint, especially when I'm using rice paper like I am in this project. I'm using water on a thin brush so that I can tear the edge off the rice paper. I'm actually going to apply that to the left side of the clay element. I'm going to use that same process to remove the white edge, and then I'll sand anything that actually goes over the side of the tile. I'm using the IOD Trimmings 4 mold. It is absolutely one of my favorite molds with all of the detail. I put a thin coat of cornstarch in my molds before using the air dry clay. That really helps them release from the mold. Here I'm making sure that the back is level by using that patented micro rim. I find that that really makes a big difference in how well the molds attach to my wood gallery blank. I'm using Paint Couture Decoupage Medium in a matte finish to apply my rice paper. Rice paper goes on so smoothly, there's never any wrinkles or bubbles. I'll apply a thin layer of the Decoupage Medium over the rice paper. That helps get rid of any little gaps that I may not have caught when I was laying the rice paper down. Once that's dry, I'll take my sanding block and I'll sand the excess paper off. I like that that leaves a porous edge so that when I paint the sides of the tile, I can let that paint absorb into the paper, and it gives it kind of a soft vignette and helps add to that vintage feel that I'm always looking for. If you remember that little trim piece of the rice paper that I took off in the beginning, I'm going to attach that to the left side of the tile, and then I'll position my Trimmings 4 piece right next to it. I like to use Titebond Quick and Thick to attach my molds, it dries pretty quickly. One thing you want to be mindful of, as your mold's drying, the edges will tend to curl, and that's because they're drying more quickly than the center of the mold. So I make sure that I get glue really well along those edges, and that really helps minimize that. I do go in and check them every few minutes while I'm working on the tile just to make sure that I have good adhesion. I applied a coat of sealer over my rice paper, and now I'm using Paint Couture Carbon all-in-one mineral acrylic paint, and the color really picked up the bluish gray color in the paper. I make sure that I get all of the edges. I'm not going for perfect coverage because once that's somewhat dry, I'll go in with a few other colors. I apply my colors darkest to lightest to capitalize on the depth that that creates. So the first color I'm using is French Putty. That's the darkest cream. And then I'm using Italian Ivory, Farmhouse Linen, and the last cream color I'm using is called Angelic. I also painted the sides in pitch black chalk paint by Paint Couture, and I made sure that I got some of that paint onto the top of the tile where it can absorb into that open edge that I talked about earlier. So it really creates more of a shadow around those rice paper edges. Because I'm using an all-in-one paint with built-in sealer, I'm able to go in with the black chiffon glaze and white back really easily. I absolutely love black chiffon. I don't think I could create without it. I'm using a baby wipe just to get the glaze off the high points of the mold, letting it sit in the recesses to give it that aged look. And then I'm going to add glaze around all of the edges, pulling it into the rice paper and wiping back, fading it as I go along. Remember how I said earlier that sometimes I tweak a project along the way? When I started taking pictures of this tile, I felt that an opportunity was missed. So I used a fan brush with Paint Couture metallic paint in bronze. It was the perfect color to pick up the warm tones in the rice paper. I didn't use black chiffon over the top of it. I just let the bronze metallic paint be the star of that trim piece. And I could not be happier with how that came out. I took the fan brush and I ran it along the edges of the mold and the edges of the gallery blank to tie everything all together. I really hope that you enjoyed this project. All products used in today's video can be found using the links in the discussion below. If you'd like to see more tiles, please consider liking and subscribing. And if you ring the bell, you'll be notified when new videos are posted. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know in the comments which tile you're going to start with. I can't wait to hear. Happy creating, everybody.